On the couch with Koel. He had a major hand in India's World Cup victory, but cricket is only his second choice. Gautam Gambhir would have much rather joined the army, perhaps because he's the biggest fan of revolutionary Bhagat Singh. On the pitch, he's aggressive, intense and serious. Off the pitch, shy and aloof. And in spite of being one of the highest run scorers, doesn't quite get the attention that some of the bad boys do. Does this even bother him? We're about to find out. Hello and welcome, Gautam Gambhir. Thank you very much for coming on my couch. You know, I've been watching you play, and it seems that the bigger the match, the better your performance is. Does the pressure have anything to do with this?
Well, obviously, I think I've always believed that if you really want to be recognized and if you really want to make a contribution in the team, it is those matches where you need to make it count. And I've always played my cricket in that way. I've never got anything that easily because the kind of experiences I've had in the past, from under 14 days to till the time I made a permanent place in the Indian team, I had to really struggle a lot to get my place in the Indian team. So I think I was always under pressure. So that could be one reason why I always feel that the more the pressure, the more I can get the best out of me.
And this recent World Cup, people say that, you know, the pressure made them do all kinds of things. Like Dhoni says he couldn't eat. He would see the food and he couldn't eat. Some people talked about they couldn't sleep. What did it do to you, this pressure?
Look, I had a very big motivation getting into this World Cup because in 2007 when
you were dropped,
that was the lowest point of my cricketing career, and I thoroughly believed that I should have been part of 2007 World Cup team as well. So that was the lowest moment in my life. So this was my first 50 over World Cup. So I wanted to make it count. And I wanted to make a big statement, not to the people or anyone, just to myself, that when I was dropped in 2007, can I make a big contribution in this World Cup, which is going to be my first World Cup. So it couldn't have got better, being the highest run getter in the final and ended up winning, being on the winning side.
People from your team have told me that you drove people crazy by telling them how much you wanted to score a century, how much you wanted to score a century in the World Cup. I mean, 97, and I watched you, my heart bled for you. I mean, you know, I was like, wow, you've done so well. But what were your thoughts firstly at that moment when you got out at 97?
Look, one motivation which I had during the World Cup was when Ian Chappell wrote an article on me that I should be dropped from the playing 11. I think that really motivated me, to be very honest. And another motivation which I already have mentioned is that I was dropped in 2007. So there was a lot of motivation for me to getting into this World Cup. And obviously, there couldn't have been any bigger stage than being the World Cup final. And if I could have scored my first World Cup century, it would have been icing on the cake.
Did you think you psyched yourself out by going like, I want to score a century, I want to score a century?
I think maybe I would have gone in future as well, because when I was in 97, I had nothing in my mind. I just wanted to keep playing. Suddenly, when I reached 97, I thought that's just 3 runs away. So my mind maybe would have gone into the future, and that is not a great thing, because suddenly there was a rush of blood. But I still feel, if you see the positive side of it, I would have scored 100 and India would have ended up being on the losing side. It wouldn't have given me any happiness. Scoring 97 and being on the winning side is far more special than scoring 100.
So personal records, you don't mind sacrificing for the greater good of the team?
I think there wouldn't have been a greater cause than winning the World Cup for the country. And if you can contribute in that thing, I think there's nothing better.
But let me say this, if you had scored your 100 at that time, then you would have been the man of the match and not Dhoni. And perhaps your entire career would have changed from that moment onwards, just in terms of the attention that you would have got. Do you ever think of that?
Well, obviously, when I got out on 97, the first thing that came in my mind was that I'm going to regret these runs for the rest of my life. Not because, I would get a man of the match in the World Cup final, nothing of that sort. Maybe it's just that it would have been a self-satisfaction that scoring a World Cup final 100, no Indian has done it, and being on the winning side would have been icing on the cake. But there are certain things, it was my own mistake, I totally accept that. But being on the winning, being on the winning side is far more special than scoring 100.